Hey everybody, it's Eric again, back on the quarter panel today. Thanks everybody for your comments yesterday, and Mark especially for the video down there showing me what you did down there. Much appreciated. So I'm going to keep working on getting everything set here. It's pretty close in most places. I still have all that fabrication I have to do in the back there today. And I got to finish getting this bottom cut the way it's supposed to be. So, and the other thing too that I didn't really comment on yesterday, when we have the quarter panel on here, this body line right here where it hits, it's matched up right there. But if you look down the line of the car, it actually turns down slightly. I mean, it's not super obvious unless you're looking down the line of the car. And I have no idea. We looked at that for a while and there was not really anything we could do about it because we have to line up this back peak right here. So the back of the quarter panel can only go one place, which is right there. And the front of the quarter panel can only go one place, which is right there. So if the quarter panel has this downward turn on that body line, what do you do about it? So I don't know if the whole car is bent right there or something. I mean, it doesn't seem like it. There's nothing in the car that looks like it's cockeyed. The only thing that's wonky, as I said, is that bottom line of the rocker right there. But that, I don't know, maybe, so if the car got bent right here, because it was a drag racer and maybe you had some traction bars on it or something there, maybe, they put enough pressure right there that actually buckled the car right there. I don't know. I can't really think of anything else that would cause that, but I don't really know how to fix that either. So we're just gonna put it on the way it is, and if it's really annoying, maybe I can use some body filler or something and try and reshape that line, but I don't really know what else I can do about it. So anyway, a lot of babbling there again, sorry. Just trying to do my mind dump in the morning so you guys all know what I'm up to and the plan for the day and all that. So, because we haven't, like I said, been filming a lot while we've been working. So, anyway. All right, so we're getting ready to start doing final fitment here. So I put some drill holes in here, and I'm going to weld in some little tabs there that I have something to anchor to as I go down, because this is all just kind of floating down here. So hopefully try and get this all cinched up where I want it, and I can finalize this bottom edge here. We did find out once we took this apart, that piece isn't welded in anymore. It busted out. So we're gonna, I guess, try and drill a hole or two in there and see if we can put a plug weld in there to hold that in place. And then we're gonna hit all this little area with the little hand sandblaster here to get the little traces of rust out of there. Alright, we got the tabs in, so we have a place to put some screws now. So that looks pretty good. Gaps are a little bit tight in a few places, so I'm going to open them up a little bit. When I did the patch on the passenger side, if I had it too tight, then the metal tended to pop out, which makes it very difficult. So I'd rather have it a little bigger than too tight. So everywhere like that, I'm probably going to open that up a little bit right there. So it's all pretty good, so now we just have to finish the bottom edge there and figure out exactly where that wants to go. This looks good over here. We're going to have to add some metal to the panel. It doesn't go all the way down there, but it fits. It's nice all up and through here. It feels good. We have to fix that thing still. Around the back here is looking nice. Pretty happy with all of that. So I think we're good there. We're gonna probably go ahead and do the flange on here now and get that done. And then we've got to start this piece back here. So, okay, we're ready to do the flange. So we marked down 3/8 of an inch all the way across here. I'm gonna run the cutting tool right along the edge of the tape there, and leave the line just on the other side or so. Take the line here. That's whenever you're cutting. Do you leave the line? Do you take the line? So we're taking the line here. So we're going to run the cutting wheel right through the tape and try and leave 3/8. Alright, so that guy's done. Nice flange all the way across. I didn't see any reason why I couldn't flange it the whole way, so I just did. I lucked out here. I forgot about this brace underneath here, and when I cut that edge off there, I thought, oh crap, now I can't get the flange tool in there, but I was able to pull this back enough to get the flange tool in there. So this is done. We're going to pause there for a moment, and we're moving on to this piece here. So what I'm doing is I've come along the passenger side here. I made this template here. Just kind of bent this into shape here to try and follow that contour. It's hard to see, I know, like that. So here we have this thing that roughly approximates that shape up to this edge right here. Then I'll just do the reverse of this, map it over to the other side, and then I know I have to add some metal on here that has to go under this part here. And then that'll tell me where that quarter panel edge has to come to right there. You can see here this only sticks out about 3/8 of an inch from this panel here, or from inside here to the back. It doesn't stick out very far. And on the other side of the car, I don't have the quarter panel on there, sorry, but the quarter panel comes way out to here. It's like an inch out from this spot. And this is bent out right here because I was working on it. You can see it's all bent right there. So we're going to have to lop off about 1/2 inch of the quarter panel-ish. And then we have to bend it around to get it to line up. This edge here is straight, as you can see, pretty much the whole way down. The quarter panel we have has the bend in it. So it's going to be a lot of work there. So what I'm going to do is, this is backwards here, but you know, something like that's not exactly right, but put this piece in like so. Imagine the pattern's backwards, jammed up under here, and then I will take this and weld it to that piece when it's where I want it. And then the little lip that's sticking out, sorry, this is so hard to see here. So that little place where it sticks up right there is where the quarter panel is going to weld onto. So we'll get the quarter panel to line up with that edge right there, and then we'll weld the quarter panel to it. So fabricate a piece, put it in here, weld it to this, and then the quarter panel gets welded to that piece. That's the plan. Alright, so there's the little piece I picked there. It's nice, it just kind of squeezes in there and holds itself in place, so that's cool. There's a spot weld right there that I didn't bother doing anything with, so I just made a notch for it. That thing just slides up inside that little hole like that. Perfect. I had to bend this. This thing was sticking out here somewhere. The other side of the car, these two edges line up here, so I sucked that in. That's even more quarter panel I've got to suck in. That line on the thing there, you can see the black line lines up with the edge of this, so that's how I know how far to put it in. So I'm going to go ahead and drill a few holes in here and weld this guy into place after I get some weld through primer on it. Alright, there we go. So quarter panel is not actually off as far as I thought. I gotta cut this here. You can see there's a big gap right there, so I need to cut this metal here and raise that lip up to line up here. But once I get this over that lip there, it's actually not that far off. So I just basically have to flatten this edge here to line up with that, and we're in pretty good shape. So let me do some work on this. Alright, I think that's going to do it for today. I never did show these tabs that I put in here. I drilled a 1/4 inch hole for the plug well. I don't know why I made them that big. I should have made it smaller, so I made a lot more work. It's not like that's a structural component there, so a tiny little plug weld would have been good enough. But anyway, that's that. Took the little sandblaster out and cleaned out that stuff down there. I re-welded this thing back on. You know, so unless you happen to notice that there was a big lip there that just doesn't kind of exist anymore when you get down to the bottom, it looks mostly correct now. If you put the epoxy on it, you probably wouldn't be able to notice that was there, and of course that's buried under the quarter panel anyways, so who cares. Around here we sandblasted that down in there. I mean, I didn't completely do this whole thing here, just the spots where I saw some rust. We got that piece in. It's just screwed in place right now to hold it on. I don't know if I showed this. Yeah, I did the flange. That's all done. Let me throw the panel back on and show you how it looks. Oh yeah, one other thing I did, sorry. Here, I did go ahead and do the pie cuts on this and get this thing lined up right. It's got a bit of a peak in a few places, you know, which would have been better to use a shrinker. I forgot who commented that, the guy's name, sorry. But I don't have a shrinker anyway, so I wasn't going to buy one just to do this little thing. So I did the pie cuts, that worked. Like I said, we'll have to do a little bit of body work to make that look nice and smooth. I put a clamp right here, which is where there's that big dent right there. That was a mistake. I pounded it out as best I could. But anyway, so that's roughly correct now. It's just kind of stitched in place to hold it there. So let me throw this on the car again and you can see what it looks like. Alright, there she is. So I still have to open up these gaps in a few places. I'm waiting to do that at the very end because like this opened up on its own here. So I may not have to do anything with it. So until everything's done where I want it, I'm not going to touch the gaps. So this is pretty nice here. That body line lines up right on the money there. This one's pretty close. This looks nice all up and through here. Back end's pretty good here. This is gonna require some work here. I'm gonna have to weld this in first before I go around the corner, because when you try to mesh this in, you can see the panel wants to come back out, so it's gonna require some hand holding to get that to where it wants to go. You can see this thing's pretty close here once I get that pulled up. See, I put some relief cuts in there, so that'll cinch up there pretty easily, I think, once I'm ready to start welding. And then here you can see this edge here. So that looks pretty good. You can see if you look down the side there, you can see there's a little peak right there, right on that corner. So it require a little bit of work to smooth that out, but all in all, she's pretty good. So let's see, what next? So I got to finish up those welds tomorrow, dress the welds, try and get this thing a little happier here in the corner. It's pretty close, so I just got to work on that a little bit longer. And then once all that's done, we'll go ahead and spray epoxy everywhere. The inside of the panel, I think I'm just going to scuff it and epoxy it. I'm not going to strip it. I might even just do the bottom half of the panel, because that's really the only place that there's any rust issues or things. So the factory put their rust treatment down there, so I'll just do the same thing with epoxy. So another day of prep and epoxy, and then the next time should be ready to start welding it back on. And I'm almost out of weld through primer, and I don't think I can get it here very fast either. So I may have to check the paint store, see if they have it, and if not, I don't have to order that, but that's going to take like a week for that stuff to get here, so that may delay me for a while before I can make any more progress, but we'll see. Anyway, I want to show you this body line here like I was talking about before. Get my welder out of the way. If you can see this here. So if you look down the side of the car there, it's kind of hard to tell. I'm not even sure you can from this angle. Get it way over there. You can see that the line on the quarter panel actually tails off, and you can see from the tape how they're not exactly square with each other. And that's what I was saying. I mean, the panel's lined up, you know, right where it needs to be. The levels of the peaks here are the same. Tape doesn't really show that very well, but they're pretty much right on the money. And the back here, this is hard to tell, but this has got kind of a rounded off peak here, but I think the peak is right there as opposed to right there. It's kind of hard to see, but it seems like that lines up pretty good. And even if this was off, it's only off a smidge. So I don't know. This line, if I try and follow this down the car, it looks pretty good. So it's just that line right there, just I don't know if, I don't see how the stamping could be off like that, but I don't know. So I'm not sure if that's something I can fix with filler down the road. This is sticking out a little far right here right now. I need to get that back in. You know, I could potentially put a little bit of fiberglass here and try and raise that line up. Doesn't, I don't think, require a lot, maybe 1/8 of an inch of fiberglass in here to get to move the peak up. It's got to come up to about there. It's about maybe 1/8 of an inch of fiberglass on there. Or I may just leave it, we'll see. Depends on how much it bugs me when I look at it down the road, but it's looking pretty sweet. It's got a, it looks like the quarter panel's on there, even though it's not all down yet, but coming along. So anyway, that's it for today. We'll pick it up next time and continue on with the welding and then some priming. See ya.